Welcome to Making Sense of Injury Law.
Welcome to Making Sense of Injury Law with Gary Massey. Gary has spent more than 2 decades helping injured people and their families stand up to insurance companies and recover after serious accidents. A former insurance defense attorney, he now uses that experience to help clients throughout Tennessee and Georgia protect their rights and pursue the compensation they deserve. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're talking about whether you really need a personal injury lawyer after an accident. Gary, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Nice to meet you, Evan. Thanks for having me.
It's good stuff. So let's kind of get down to it, Gary. Before you started representing injured people, you worked for an insurance defense firm. What made you switch these sides, and how has that experience shaped the way you represent clients today?
Well, to be honest with you, Evan, it was an attack of conscience. One day I'm in a deposition where I'm cross-examining a man who's been working for a long time and he's experienced an injury, and it's my job to try to find arguments that I can use to say, you know what, this event didn't cause these injuries, that they were the result of something else. And he just reminded me of my dad. To be honest with you, my dad has had 4 back surgeries over the years, starting when I was still at home. And he's still out farming and riding a tractor and sometimes even trying to use a chainsaw. And I just realized that these are my people, right? I grew up on a farm. I grew up working and just respect working people. And so I wanted to work for them and not against them. And working for the insurance companies, I learned how they do business. I learned how they evaluate cases, but I never felt good about it. So frankly, it didn't even take me long. It's been well over 25 years ago now that I switched sides and started representing the people that I really identify with.
So, Gary, do you need a personal injury lawyer after every accident, or are there situations where someone can handle a claim on their own?
Well, Evan, there's a saying, you don't need a bulldozer to plant a tomato, right? And so, no, the bottom line is, no, you don't need a lawyer after every accident. But if there's any significant injury, any injury that's more than maybe 2 visits to the doctor, sometimes even less than that. But if you're going to be dealing with your health insurance company and a car insurance company, if you're missing any time from work at all, anything like that, then you should at least check, right? It doesn't cost anything to call. It doesn't cost anything to say, do I need a lawyer? And we tell people the truth, right? If your injury, if you would put more money in your pocket by settling the case with the insurance adjuster on your own, we're going to tell you that. Our job is to get our clients more than they would have gotten without us. And we tell people, no, your case isn't really big enough. You don't need a lawyer. You'll be better off without one. But frankly, it's seldom the case. Most of the time, if you've got several doctor's visits, if you're in physical therapy, if you're getting an MRI or anything like that, I can almost always get significantly more money than you could get by yourself.
So with that being said, Gary, what are the advantages of hiring a personal injury lawyer early instead of waiting to see, how things maybe play out?
The best time to fix the fence is before the cows get out, right? And so the best time to hire a lawyer early is early, because we can start working early. And, I was actually sideswiped on Highway 153 in Chattanooga a little over just under a year ago. And it was a commercial vehicle that he just merged into my lane and just crushed the side of my truck. And, he wouldn't say a word. He gets on the phone with his boss, didn't even want to call the police. And he's got people, right? Big companies, insurance companies, corporations, whatever the case, they've got people working on trying to prove that it's not their fault on day one. And a person who comes at it like, well, I'll just tell the truth and I'm sure the other person will be honest, you're just leaving yourself open to be taken advantage of. And the truth is that evidence needs to be preserved immediately. Like in our law firm, we have a former police officer who actually trains other police officers in investigative techniques. And she goes out and she gathers this evidence. She finds witnesses that other people don't even know exist. We get pictures of skid marks or, broken guardrails. We get pictures of the vehicles before they're damaged, so that we have the evidence. Evidence is like milk. it spoils. And so you got to get it early. It's, there's an expiration date. And if you wait too long, if you just trust everybody to do the right thing, you're putting yourself really, really behind the eight ball, very much so. And so hiring a lawyer early not only makes it more likely you'll win, it makes it more likely you'll win quick. If you don't hire a lawyer early, like if you call me 9 months after the accident, there's probably an 80% chance, if we're willing to take your case, that your case is going to go to a lawsuit. Whereas if you had hired me 9 days after the accident or 9 hours after the accident, there's probably a 20% chance that case goes to a lawsuit. And so it makes everything quicker and easier if you get the expert involved immediately.
So what does personal injury lawyers, actually do that most people can't do on their own there, Gary?
Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And the insurance company is counting on that, right? Mm-hmm. They're hoping that you don't get a lawyer. Their own studies have shown that a person who gets a lawyer usually recovers about 3 times more than a person without a lawyer would recover with exactly the same injuries and with exactly the same facts. And so, anybody can swing a hammer, but not anybody can build a house. And handling a personal injury case, if there's any complicated part of it at all, is much closer to building a house than it is building a doghouse. And even a doghouse is not easy if you don't know what you're doing. And so what we do is we dig into the insurance coverage. A few years ago, I had a really tragic case where a lady was killed. She was an innocent bystander who got caught up in a gang shooting between cars, and the other 2 cars ran her off the road, and the insurance company was going to pay $25,000, their insurance limits, and her family could have gotten that without me. But we dug into it. We started evaluating the cars, the owners of the other cars. We dug deep into the facts and how everything came together, and we were able to uncover hidden insurance coverage and got that family over $1 million. We can't do that on every case, but we can make sure that the investigation has been done and that every penny available has been found and recovered. And how you do that is a really technical thing, and sometimes it requires a law license. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't have a lawyer, the insurance company doesn't take you seriously. The only way to enforce your rights is to file a lawsuit, and most people would struggle to even figure out how to file a lawsuit, much less maintain the lawsuit. Whereas if you have a lawyer on your side, the insurance company knows that you can actually enforce your rights through a lawsuit, and so the lawsuit most of the time never even becomes required. So we're able to settle most cases without a lawsuit, whereas a person doing it themselves, they're just going to dare you. Just say, prove it, right? And you don't know how. And it seems unfair that they don't just do what the law requires them to do, but they don't. And so you've got to get somebody who can help you do it. And if you don't, they'll take advantage of you. And that's just the truth.
So what are some signs that an insurance company may not be treating your claim fairly, though, Gary?
Well, some big red flags to look for. Speed, pressure, and paperwork, right? If they come and they make you an offer really fast, then they're trying to do something to save money before you realize, what your case is really worth. If somebody's really eager to buy your calf, you better go take a second look at your calf because there's something he sees that you don't, right? Mm-hmm. And then if they're asking for a recorded statement, if they're asking you for a recorded statement, they think you have a pretty big case. And so you should be paying very careful attention. And so when they offer you, $1,500 or $5,000 or something like that, to them, that's buying the case for pennies on the dollar. And when I was doing insurance defense, I was at a Christmas party one time with insurance adjusters, and they were all laughing and telling stories about how they had talked people into settling cases for pennies on the dollar. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that made me feel so guilty that, just a few months later, I got out of the industry because it felt so dirty to me. But I've had clients I had a client one time, a young man, I think he was 17, 18, 19 years old. He was in a pretty bad wreck. He was hurting. He was going to the doctor, and the insurance company showed up at his house, and thankfully his dad was there. He was 19, as I remember now. His dad was there, and they were out in the yard working on a car or something like that. And they had two people from the insurance company, and one was a really attractive young woman, and there was a man, and the man took the dad and was like, "Take me around here and show me this." And while he's around the house, the young attractive woman tries to get the young man, the son, to sign a release and to take a really small settlement. That's how they do business.
Wow.
And so if they're trying to get you to settle quick, if they're trying to make weak arguments like pre-existing condition, or the car didn't have much damage to it, they're trying to take advantage of you, and you need help. You need somebody who knows the industry, knows how to make the case, and how to force the insurance company to do what's fair. You need help with a situation like that.
Mm. But Gary, many people worry that they can't afford an attorney after an accident. That's kind of their biggest problem. How do contingency fees work in personal injury cases?
Right. That's one of the biggest questions that we get all the time. And the way we work, the way we get paid, is we get a contingency fee, which means we get a percentage of whatever money we recover for our client. And so our client doesn't pay us anything up front. We don't send them bills. We don't keep hourly, time so that we pay, you pay us $400 an hour. I've seen attorneys in Chattanooga now getting paid $600 an hour, or even more than that in some places. We don't charge you anything like that. So if we don't win your case, if we don't get money for you, we don't get paid at all. The way we say it is, we eat when you eat, right? But the truth of the matter is, if that's not fair, right? If when the case is over and we get a settlement on your case, and we have to pay back medical liens for your health insurance, or you still owe some medical bills or things of that nature, well, then we compare that. And if necessary, we cut our fee. We'll decrease our fee just to make sure that we leave the client better off. Because our business is people, our business is helping people, and our best cases come through word of mouth and referrals from other clients. And so we always make sure that our client is better off than we are at the end of a case. And sometimes that means we don't get paid at all, but frankly, we're good enough at our jobs that we almost always get paid.
So, taking in everything that you've said during this episode, Gary, when should someone contact a personal injury lawyer after an accident?
Well, what we always tell people is right away, right? You should always call, the police from the accident scene, and then you should get medical treatment. You should at least get checked out. And if you're having any physical symptoms at all, you should get medical treatment. But I get called sometimes from the waiting room of the hospital. I've gone and met with people in the cafeteria at the hospital before. That's on a serious crash, right? There were deaths involved in that case, and then other people still in surgery, and so it was a really difficult situation for that family, and I was happy to go. Most of the time, you don't need a lawyer before you get to the hospital, but you need one within a day or two, and so right away. You don't try to fix the pump after the well is dry, right? So you want to take care of things early and quickly, because we jump on a case right away, and we start gathering evidence and making sure that everything is in place. Making sure that we help you with property damage, making sure we help you get the kind of medical treatment that you need. Sometimes you, after a car wreck, for instance, you call your doctor and you say, I was in a car wreck and my neck is so sore I can barely turn my head. And the doctor's office will say, "Oh, we don't see people after a car wreck." Well, we can help you navigate that, right? We can help you deal with situations like that, deal with the health insurance. A lot of people make mistakes in dealing with their health insurance after injuries and accidents. And so you need advice. Even if you don't need an attorney, you need advice from an attorney if you're getting any kind of medical treatment at all. And so the earlier, the better. The truth is, sometimes we get calls from people who thought they could handle it themselves and come to find out the insurance company is just sort of laughing at them. And so now it's been 9 months since their injury, And in Tennessee, you have 1 year to file a lawsuit or your case is dead. You have to settle your case or file your lawsuit within 1 year in most injury cases in Tennessee. And so 9 months after the wreck, all of the evidence is gone. The cars have all been, destroyed or repaired. The skid marks are gone. Any damage to the road is gone. Any witnesses who were there have completely forgotten, what they saw and what time of day it was even. And so it makes our job much more difficult. And so the truth is, if you call a lawyer 9 months after the wreck, the lawyer is much more likely to say, you know what, it's just too late for me to really make a difference on your case. It's going to take me 3 or 4 times more work, and it's just not worth it to me. And so calling the lawyer early gets your case handled correctly from day one, makes your case shorter, gets you to a settlement much more quickly, and frankly, gets you a better settlement at the end. And if it doesn't settle early, then it gets you a much better lawsuit. And if it has to go to trial, which is rare, but we do take cases to trial. We take more cases to trial than almost any firm in town. But it's, you get a better trial if the lawyer is there working on the case from day one.
That's good stuff. Gary, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Evan.
Awesome. That's it for today's episode of Making Sense of Injury Law with Gary Massey. If you've been injured because of someone else's negligence and have questions about your rights, visit masseyattorneys.com to learn more or schedule that free consultation. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to leave a review, and subscribe so you don't miss future conversations about protecting yourself and your family after a serious injury. And we'll see you all next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.